Well, good morning, guys. Backyard Scrapping here with Full Push Metals Contact Refined Part 4. Isn't that amazing? Anyhow, I just wanted to show you real quick where we are. I'm going to try and keep this video short. I'm going to just put in little excerpts of what I'm doing because we have already gone way too long with this thing. Anyhow, right quick, this is the contacts that did not dissolve, and this is even after the second time. So they are cleaned and dried. That is the fluid from the second run of the contacts. That's still a mystery fluid. This was what you saw me drop at the end of the video of part 3. Our test tubes with our tests that everything worked out good on. The dry powders and the silver chloride so far, which this was rinse water from yesterday. So I went ahead and hit it with HCl to drop the silver chloride out of that. This was the same and it's already settled. And this also was the same that is already settled. So eventually we will end up putting all these silver chlorides together. Right now I'm going to go ahead and start rinsing and cleaning this one because it's going to be the easiest. Go ahead and get this stuff started dissolving, and then we'll get back at you. I'm going to just throw little excerpts in and out of this so that I don't drag this video out. I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible because, like I said, we've ended up with a mini series here. So, alright guys, I'll get back in and out with you every little while. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, I'm just going to check in with you for a second. I just wanted to show you I've gathered all the bottles that were up here where we've gotten dropped the silver chloride from our many different experiments. But that's what we've got so far. It's not a whole lot, but I still have to redrop, redissolve and redrop the silver out of that sludge. So I'm going to keep doing this. Gather this silver chloride up. Then when we go to convert it, I'll get back with you. But like I said, I'm going to try and keep this short. I'm not going to put you through watching me filter and all the things. I mean, it just takes hours and hours and hours to do this, and there's no point in even trying to video any of it. But when I get to a spot where I can show you something interesting, I'll go ahead and show you. But like I said, that's what we've got so far. So we'll be back with you when we get to another step. Okay guys, we're back for a second. We're actually to the point where I'm going to go ahead and start adding the nitric acid back into this to redissolve it. I'm estimating, because I didn't want to filter this because we're going to get a lot of it stuck in the filters that doesn't need to be, so I just kind of rinsed it a couple times and took the pour off water, which we'll hit again with sodium chloride, and drop the rest of the silver out of this in just a few minutes. But I'm going to go ahead and redissolve this, get it started. I figured you guys might like to see this because I'm kind of curious as to what's going to happen. I do have another 100 mils of nitric acid, so we have now doubled our cost on doing this, but that's alright. It was a great learning experience, and you can see an instant reaction, and it's actually fairly cold out here. So this is going to have to be done very slowly. I'm getting a little gas off of it, so I'm going to have to move it out of here. But I'm going to add a little more so you can just see the reaction. It's fairly instantaneous. But that will redissolve this sludge, and then we'll be able to drop the silver out of it. Alrighty guys, I'll get back at you when I go ahead to get ready to drop this silver chloride out of this one over here. We'll be back in a minute. Okay guys, we are actually ready to do our silver chloride drop. There's just a tiny little bit of salt left down in there, so that means this should be pretty saturated. We should get, just like we did yesterday, just get some white silver chloride, I hope. And yep, there we go. There's probably not going to be a whole bunch in this batch because it was just, again, rinse water. But we are going to get every bit that we can after this fiasco. Beautiful, beautiful. Hit it with a little more salt water and make sure we've got it all dropped out. I don't see any more chloride forming, so time to just let this one settle out now. Our lead and silver is on the burner dissolving, and I'll give you guys a shot of that in just a minute. Back at you shortly. Okay guys, I just wanted to show you real quick that we do have a pretty good reaction going on in there. The stuff is going back into solution, so we're just going to let it sit on the warmer and dissolve back. Then we'll filter that booger off and get the rest of the silver out of this stuff. Back at you in a bit. Okay guys, while our sludge is over there dissolving, which it is doing a very good job of, I am just going to go ahead and hit this stuff with some zinc. See if we get any kind of a reaction out of it, and if we can get enough of the powder at least to melt and test. I'm not going to goof around with it too much more than that. If I can get a powder to drop out of it, we can test that, melt that down and test that. That'll tell us right quick what it is. So I am going to go ahead and drop that in there. We are getting a reaction. Like I said, I do not have any idea what it's going to be yet. I'm hoping it's a tiny bit of palladium. It'll make up for all this stuff. It looks like it, but so did the other. So let's just let this dissolve. You can see the reaction going on in there. We'll let that go, see what we get out of it. Let's see if I can zoom it in any more for you to see it. And see what we get out of this. Okay guys, this has been going on for a few minutes now, and I noticed something kind of interesting with it. Now this was denoxed. I mean, the nitric was neutral in this. I checked it with urea. I got no reaction. Okay guys, there you can see our sludge is almost gone. Everything's almost back in the solution. We're going to let that play out. Over here with this zinc, I've got something really weird going on in there. I mean, that thing's just doing a little dance in there and going back and forth. So I'm actually going to run inside and I'm going to get me another batch of urea. My urea that I tested this with may have been bad because there's just way too much reaction going on in there for that nitric acid to be neutral. So I'll get back at you in just a few. Okay guys, that piece of zinc is just about totally gone, and as you can see there's basically nothing in there. So I don't know if this just went bad or what, so I've got a fresh bottle of urea. I'm going to put a little bit in there just to see if it reacts, and if it does, then I know my urea over there was, yep, it sure is. So that can go right into the trash. That's why we didn't get a drop. Because I had put quite a bit of urea in that and I got no reaction. So our urea, I don't know how it goes bad or why, but you can see right there we're getting a lot of reaction. So there's a ton of nitric acid still in there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get this neutral, or get it denoxed, and we'll get back at you again and try another piece of zinc. Alright guys, we'll be right back at you. Alrighty guys, I put some more water in. Our first urea was obviously bad. So I got a fresh bottle of urea. I've got no more reaction going on, so we're going to try this again. Maybe we got it this time. Okay, I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch this. You can see what it's doing, so we'll just let it go till it's done and then see what we end up with. Alrighty, back at you shortly. Okay guys, as you can see, I added another piece of zinc. Our reaction is slowing down. We have, again, something that looks like palladium, but I am not going to know until it's finished, because this time I'm actually going to just filter that off, whatever's in that jar, and then I'm going to go ahead and melt it, and then I'm going to do an acid test to check for palladium. But if that ends up being palladium, which is how it looks when this process happens, you can probably see why I thought all that other was, because it does make just like a black little sludge. But anyway, we're going to let that continue out. I'll pause for just a second to show you what we got going on over here with the silver and lead. It's slowed down to almost nothing, so we're going to let it go, but let me give you a peek at that real quick. Okay, and that's our sludge from the first batch. So it's just about completely dissolved. I'm just going to let it settle, let it clear up, then we'll filter that off. We'll drop that silver out of that solution with sodium chloride, and see how much silver we ended up with. And like I said, hopefully our little black jar over there this time is palladium, but I'm not going to know, and I'm not going to mess around with it anymore. I'm just going to melt it and test it. Just thought I'd toss this in, guys, but the deer have moved up into the back of the field. I don't know if you can see them out there, but there's 4 of them munching away on some clover. Yeah, every night they come in here to have a bite. Boy, it's getting cold out here. Anyway, I thought you guys might like to take a little peek at my pets. Go back to eating, guys. Alrighty, guys. There is our sludge back into solution. There is our salt water, saturated, completely saturated. I still got a little tiny bit of salt down there, so we know that this is a completely saturated solution. Here we go, and we got a lot of, look at that, we got a lot of silver in this. That's what I was hoping for. We are still making silver chloride. Still making silver chloride. I knew we were going to get a bunch somewhere. We had to make up for all this mess. Yeah, there we go. That's what I've been waiting to see, guys. See if we're still getting any more. I may need a bigger jar. Yeah, that's like trying to stir cottage cheese. That's what you like to see. Alrighty, anyway guys, I just wanted to show you, this is going to be our last silver chloride drop. We've already dropped now, recovered and dropped all the silver that we're going to get out of these contacts. I am going to let, earlier I put the tin in that other solution, not tin, the zinc in the other solution, and let it go. That's actually going to probably take a few days to settle out, so it's actually good that I have to go to work. Not good. I'd rather be doing this. But anyway, guys, we'll get back to you in well, like it's going to be a little bit, second or two for you, but 3 or 4 days for me. So anyway, guys, we'll see you shortly. Okay, guys, we are back. It is Sunday morning. It is blue cold out here. I made it through work. So basically what I'm going to do is just try and gather up all this silver chloride now into one one jar, get it rinsed so we can get it converted, and see how much silver we ended up with out of this batch. This little guy is still settling out. It's been 3 days, but as you can see, we still don't have it settled. So I'm just going to let that continue. I'm not going to worry about this right now. The main thing I want to do is get to the silver, and if we have to make another video with that to see what it is, we'll do that down the road here, or next week, or whatever. Because I got a bunch of videos to make. I mean, I just hit my 200 subs. I got to do that video. I've got a couple mail calls to do. I've got to finish this. So I'm actually getting way behind. Plus, we got Christmas coming up. So I wanted to get this finished before Christmas. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean this all out, get it ready, get it all into one jar, and then convert it. So I'm not going to put you all through that. You guys have seen me do this before. So anyway, that's what I'm going to work on right now, and we'll get back at you when we got it all cleaned, rinsed, and ready to convert. Alright, we'll see you in a few. Our next step is going to be to convert this, because you can't melt this like it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get it converted to a silver oxide. I'm going to use sodium hydroxide to do that. And there's no really any specific amount to use. It's kind of an eye thing. Basically, when you put it in, it's going to get dark. It's going to get, this is all going to heat up. And you just kind of use your judgment on the color. But you definitely want it all to be uniform in color. You don't want any little white specks or anything left in it. So you want to keep mixing it till that's done. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Or I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera because it takes a little bit. And then I'll come back again and show you. Then we're going to have to convert it from the oxide to the metal. And I use glycerin to do that. You can use sugar, you can use corn syrup, there's any number of things. I just happen to like how glycerin works. So I'm going to go ahead and convert this with the sodium hydroxide, and then we'll get back to you and show you how it looks after that, which you can see. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you real quick what's going on here, and this is pretty warm. You get a pretty good exothermic reaction on this, but do you see that white that's still coming up? So basically I have to just keep mixing this until all that goes away. It's all got to turn this same kind of a drab color. So I'm going to just keep doing that. I just wanted you guys to see that so you know. Okay guys, we are now ready to add our glycerin. You see that that's all pretty much been converted. Once again, I'm just going to put this in, and I'm going to go ahead and mix it up because it's going to take a while. And I want to make sure it's mixed thoroughly. So I will get back to you when we have converted this to metallic silver. But you see how it looks right now. So now we're going to go ahead and do the final conversion, and then we can rinse it and get it ready to melt. So we'll be back at you in just a bit. And we're getting a lot of heat here, which is actually good. It feels really good on my hands. But now this is actually converting over to metallic silver now. There is our metallic silver. So now I can go ahead and just start the rinse process like I normally do. Clean this up, get it dried and weighed, and see how much silver we finally got out of the little batch of contacts. We are actually going to wrap up this video. We're going to go through the numbers and see what we ended up with. There is that black stuff that's out there. I am not going to mess with that right now because I don't have the time. And what I'll do is just end up making a separate video out of that. I have no idea if it's just more lead or what it is. But I wanted to do this silver part so we could get this finished up, because I'm actually way behind on stuff I need to do. So anyhow, we started with, let me get a pen. Our original weight was 77.64 grams. So we had 77.64 grams of the contacts. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to actually see what didn't dissolve. Okay. And I am showing 42.9. 42.08 of undissolved contacts. So we're going to go 42.08, and that's undissolved. And then this is going to be, there's 4 filters in here, and this is powder that was undissolved. So I have 4 of the same filters here in a bag. We're going to go ahead and put these on the scale and tar that out. And then we can weigh this, and we'll see what our undissolved powders and filters did. Okay, and I have 3.78 grams in there. Okay, so that's also undissolved. So this is all our undissolved materials. I'll do the percentages and all that in the end on the sheet. I'll show you. But that's our undissolved materials right here. So we can put that 1.64 minus 45.86 equals. So that gave us a possibility of 31.78 grams of silver. So just over an ounce it gave us the possibility for. So now let's see what we got. Our powder is cleaned and dried and everything else. Let's see where we ended up at. Not too bad. I mean, considering how much lead it looked like came out of that solution, we're actually not in that bad a shape. So if we'd have had like a pound of these contacts instead of just a couple ounces, we probably would have done fairly well. Get the rest of this silver out of this jar. Alrighty, what I am showing is 28.63 grams of silver powder, which you can see right there. So of that we really didn't have that much lead. I mean, for as much lead as came out in that jar, you would have think we would have ended up with less silver, but we had 31.78 grams possible. We ended up with 31.78 minus 28.63. That's a loss of 3.15 grams to lead, other base metals that dissolved, and whatever. So really, in all, that was actually a pretty good yield. It's just the fact that we had so much we had to go through. Alrighty guys, I just did the final tally up. I'm going to explain it to you real quick, and then we are going to be done with this video. There will be a part 5 that is going to be with that black powder that we got out of the second time we ran the contacts. Like I said earlier, I just don't have the time to mess with that right now. But anyway, let's go over the numbers real quick. There's all the silver. We already weighed that. What it ended up at, we started with 77.64 grams of contacts, cleaned contacts. Of that, 45.86 grams did not dissolve. So that ended up making these 36.87% pure, which falls below the 75% pure that I normally do for the 25-75% split. So as I explained earlier in some other videos, what I do is for every percent below the 75, I take another 0.5%, but I'll get to that in just a second. Anyway, so we had 31.78 grams of silver possible. Our total weight loss ended up being 49.01. That was with the powder that was left over and the contacts that were left over. So in any case, our final is 28.63, which you see here. 75 minus 36.87% left a difference of 38.125%, which is divided by 2, which comes out to 19.06%, which would be added to my 25% to give me a total of 44.06%. So the actual split in this would be the 28 grams of the 28.63 grams, 12.61 grams of that would go to me because they were only at 36.875%, and then 16.02 grams will go to Full Push Metals. Now, being that this was such a project, I actually want him to get, you know, something physical in his hand, and a, you know, a little bit. That's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to just basically go at the 75-25%. I'm going to pour him a bar that's going to be somewhere around 20 grams, in that vicinity. The difference of that will be almost close to the 75-25% split. Out of the 25% on my end, I'm going to pay for the shipping to return it to him. I want him to get something in his hands out of this, and it was a great learning experience for me. I mean, I learned a few tricks. Thank God that I had people going into the comments and telling me some things, and John RMS really helped out by reminding me about the sulfuric acid test, so I want to thank him. But in any case, what we're going to do is we're going to take and pour him about a 20-gram bar out of this silver. I'll keep the balance and take the postage and stuff out of that, so it's going to be really close to the original 75-25. Again, I don't care, that this was just a little amount of silver. Like I said, I don't really do this for the money. I do it for the silver. If you guys have an ounce you want refined, or you have 100 ounces you want refined and you want to send it to me, I don't care. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for the silver. But in any case, that was our final numbers. I am not going to show the bar or the pouring. I mean, there's videos of me pouring some bars, and there'll be future videos of me pouring bars. I actually just don't want to show this bar and this pour so that he can show it when he gets it. So that wraps this portion up with the silver. Like I said, there will be a part 5 with that other little bit of black sludge. I'm really hoping it's palladium. I don't know. I mean, I've been disappointed with palladium so many times that, I'm not expecting it to be. But we're going to go ahead and filter that out, when it settles good, and melt it down and do an acid test on it and see what it is. And if it is, then I'll send him his portion of that, and then I'll keep my portion of that. And that's really going to be about it. So we're going to wrap this up. Like I said, I have other videos to make. And actually other projects I need to get started out there. So guys, it's been a blast. Look for part 5. It's probably going to be after Christmas. Or for sure going to be after Christmas, because I just don't have time to do it. Alrighty guys, so we'll get back at you. I'll be putting out my 200 sub giveaway video soon. Probably again going to be after Christmas. I mean, we just got a lot to do right now. Like I said, I have several projects out there. So we'll get back at you. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. Thanks for hanging in and watching this little mini series, and it's still not over yet. So we'll see you soon, guys. Have a good one.